Hi, and welcome back to Rugged Mountain Homestead. My name is Sarah, and I am very motivated in the kitchen today. We are having our first guests up at the homestead in a couple of days, and so I'm trying to get a start on meal preparation and just a few things to have in our freezer as well. So I'd love to have you join me in the kitchen and see what we're going to get cooking up. Now the first thing I'm going to do is a barbecue sauce. I put in a 4 or 5 poundish pork loin in the crock pot yesterday. I put it in the early evening, and then I put it on low and just let it cook all through the night. When I got up this morning, I shredded it, took the bone out, and just put it on warm. So I'm going to make the barbecue sauce for it now, and then it can be poured over top of the pork, and we can have that for dinner. So let's get started. All right, I'm going to make it in this big cast iron Dutch oven because I'm actually going to double the recipe so that I can put a jar up for later, because I will be doing this meal for company as well. But I will only list the ingredient amounts for a regular batch of barbecue sauce. I'm also going to be putting the recipe in the description box for you as well. All right, first we're going to take 2 cups of ketchup. One teaspoon of hot sauce. I'm using Louisiana hot sauce, and it smells pretty hot. I haven't used this one before. So you can tell it's a new bottle. One teaspoon of liquid smoke. I have not used liquid smoke in my barbecue sauce before, but I saw it on sale at the store and I want to try it. If you don't like a smoky flavor to your barbecue, you can just leave it out. It's not going to make like a big difference. A 1/4 cup of apple cider vinegar. Now forgive me if I pronounce this wrong, but a 1/4 cup of Worcestershire sauce. I hope I have that correct. I know there's always a big debate on how to say it, and it's a tongue twister for me. But anyway, you're going to use a 1/4 cup of that. Okay. And a 1/4 cup of brown sugar. Now, I don't buy brown sugar anymore because it's so easy to make on your own. And all it is your sugar and molasses. And what I do is I just put my sugar into a measuring cup, however much I need, and then I just eyeball and put some molasses in and take a fork and stir it up real well until it's completely blended into the color that I want. So you can have light brown sugar or dark brown sugar. You just don't use as much molasses. But I like mine about this color. I guess that would be light brown sugar. But anyhow, it's a 1/4 cup. And I am packing mine down. Okay. 2 tablespoons of molasses. And 2 tablespoons of ground mustard. I'm gonna get out more spoons because I use my other tablespoon for the molasses. So 1, 2. One teaspoon of crushed red pepper. 1 teaspoon. We already have hot sauce in there. This is a new recipe for me too. So I'm going for it. And 1 tablespoon of barbecue rub. It doesn't matter, and you can even make your own, doesn't matter what kind. I have some already made left that I bought locally from someone who makes it here, and that's probably all I have left is a tablespoon. We'll see. Whatever it is, it is. It's not quite a tablespoon, but it's plenty. And sometimes it's hard for me to follow a recipe to the actual letter because I am so used in the kitchen now that I cook from scratch pretty regularly of just, oh, this sounds good, I'll throw it in. Or let's try this, and you know, this seasoning, this will probably be nice, and I throw it in. So sometimes it's kind of hard. But I found this recipe and then I tweaked it. And Dean does not like sweet barbecue sauce. So I'm trying to put some heat in it and put a little bit of the liquid smoke in it and test it out. He's my taste tester for sure. All right, so we're going to go ahead and put it on for a low simmer. I have an electric range, so I'm going to stick that on 3. And then we're just going to whisk it. Where's this one? And this should make a good pint of barbecue sauce. So if you don't need to use that much, you can always go ahead and put it in a jar. Or even a Ziploc bag for that matter, and throw it in the freezer for another time. Okay, we'll let that come to a simmer, a very, very light bubble, and go from there. Okay, this has come to a nice bubble now, so I'm going to go ahead and take it off the stove. So now that that is ready, I turned it back a little bit just so the bubbling would calm down so that I could ladle some into this 2-cup measuring cup. And then we can put it on the pork barbecue. there was just no way I was going to try and pick up this cast iron Dutch oven and just pour it directly into the crock pot. That would be an accident waiting to happen. All right, spatula. And this pork turned out really nice. What I used for this one was a pork butt roast. Like I said, I just put it on yesterday evening and let it cook on low through the night. And I just shredded it this morning. And Wyatt was ever so happy to have that roasted pork bone. All right. Now, I'm going to go ahead and put half in here, and then I'm going to just kind of mix it up. This may not need 2 cups. It's looking really good. And I'm just taking my tongs and just picking up some of the meat and just turning it over, kind of like folding it in to the sauce. Yeah, I can use some more. The liquid is looking right, you know, it's nice and moist. But it's such a beautiful color barbecue sauce. I'm just wanting to see a little bit darker color on the pork. And then once I have this thoroughly combined, I'm going to put it back on the, I'm going to put the crock back into the crock pot. I'm going to put it on low again for a little while, just so the barbecue sauce can kind of cook in. And then later on, I'll just put it to keep warm until dinner time. You know what, friends? We are going to use 2 cups. Like I said, this is my first time with it too. It just sounded so good, but as always, I have to tweak things. Okay. Now, if it just tastes as good as it looks, wow, that's nice. You see that? Looks really good. All right, so I'm gonna put that back on the heat for just a little bit on low, and I'll be back with you in a minute, and we're gonna move on to some freezer meals.